Hey, shalom, everyone. This is Jeremy Cohen with the Mishkan Podcast. I have here again my firstborn son, Benjamin Cohen, on my right hand this time. And he did such a great job last time that I just decided to bring him on as a co-host. One of the things I wanted to mention with these podcasts, the reason we do them, the reason I started doing them is so I could try to help people to imagine the kingdom of God that's coming. Because this current age is fading. This is the final years of man ruling this world and Satan having dominion. The king is coming, and we want people to know that, and we want people to be able to imagine it as much as possible so they can better detach from this age and have the hope of the kingdom to come. So that's why we do this, and that's kind of a calling for me, and so I'm excited to do them. Ben, we're going to be talking about some exciting things today, aren't we? We're going to be talking about what?
We're going to be talking about angels and spirits and personalities today.
Personalities, and the personality really is a mixture of temperaments. So we're going to look at a picture that Ezekiel gives us, even in Revelation also it is given. We're talking about the scene where there are 4 living creatures that Ezekiel sees coming out. Can you describe those creatures for everybody to kind of get a background here?
So they're really, really bizarre. They are, they're pretty much humans with wings, 4 wings, 2 covering their bodies, 2 they're flying with, and they're on fire basically, and they have eyes all over their bodies, which that could be figurative or literal. They also have 4 heads, which is really weird. One's an ox, one's an eagle, one's a lion, and one's a human. And last of all, I don't know the significance of this, but they have straight legs and feet like calves.
Yeah, and all their wings are touching as they're flying, and then they're touching wings. And so this is just a scene of creatures. They call them chaim, which is animals, living creatures. And there's so many different things to draw from this, so much significance, but we're going to look at it from a certain perspective today about what God possibly is trying to tell us about this picture, because it's apparently important. If it wasn't important, God wouldn't have written it for us through the prophet Ezekiel, Chazakiah in Hebrew. So let's talk about the sanguine spirit. We're going to talk about 4 different things about each animal. And the first, and not all of them are animals, one of them is a man. And that man is, one of the faces of these creatures that expresses a side of God that we can understand through this picture. It's bizarre for a reason. And so we believe that the man represents a spirit or personality called sanguine or temperament, a sanguine dominant personality. Okay, everybody has a human spirit. Okay, it's limited. It has weaknesses. The sanguine spirit is expressed in what manner, Ben? If we can read some of the strengths here, what are some of the strengths of this sanguine spirit represented by the man?
So optimistic, joyful, shows emotion openly, great storyteller, people-oriented, easy to talk to, good on stage, charismatic, dramatic.
These are a lot of good strengths and qualities. And these are things like in heaven, the angels are perfect, right? The angels are perfect. And so they don't have any weaknesses. In the fallen angel, 1/3 of heaven that fell, they have weaknesses. They have these negative traits. And so what are some of the negative traits of this sanguine spirit?
Scatterbrained, show-off, dramatic, impulsive, hides insecurities, repeats stories, which I have that issue, by the way, has restless energy, naive, has loud voice and laugh. I also have that issue. I must be sanguine.
Yeah, so that's why I brought Ben on. He's very sanguine. I have a lot of that. My father's that way. Ben is just a younger version of my father. And so it's just really interesting to see how he is and how my dad is. It's really interesting. So there's 4 things I want to talk about each of these faces. The animal itself, which is it's not an animal, it's a man. And then there's the type of temperament he is. It's a sanguine. And there's the color that's associated with that temperament, which is yellow. And it's also, there's also one more thing I want to talk about. There's an angel in history that has been told to us that could very well be represented as this temperament, and his name is Uriel. It means light. God is my light. Okay? It's really interesting that his name is that. He's a light-hearted character. The things that were written about him, he's very light-hearted. He's very cheerful, just like the strengths mentioned here.
Just out of curiosity, is Uriel ever mentioned in the Bible?
He's not, but he's mentioned in more auxiliary works and writings.
Like the book of the Maccabees or the book of
correct.
Enoch?
Yeah,
like
absolutely. Uriel is an angel that is not in the Bible, but he seems to fit a real personality of heaven, right? I would even jump into speculate to say that he's in charge of the theatrical community events he has a role in heaven. All of these angels have leadership roles, So sanguine is a very fun personality to be around, but the naivety and the ignorance and the unrealistic optimism and maybe projected non-authenticity could be annoying to another temperament called melancholic. But let's jump into the next one, phlegmatic. Now, phlegmatic is a personality represented by which animal?
By an ox.
By an ox. And the ox, what kind of creature is an ox?
An ox is a form of livestock, and it's kind of in the same family as cows and buffalo, but it has shorter legs, which means it has more torque, which means it can pull heavier loads faster than a bull could, or a donkey could, or whatever. It's
got a higher torque. It's kind of like a semi-truck where you've got 16 gears and you can pull like thousands of pounds. They had ox pulling the Mishkan pieces and all the equipment that went with the Mishkan.
Oxes are all over the Bible.
Oxes are really strong. They're stronger in torque than cows are. So they use them for treading out the field, like plowing the field and stuff. So what kind of person is a phlegmatic ox?
A phlegmatic person is somebody who's very calm, can take a lot of pain, is very, I don't want to say a procrastinating person, but very, very laid back.
Very laid back. That's probably the best term for them. I had a business partner that was phlegmatic. He will do anything you say. He is a servant. He's not going to talk back to you. He is compliant. But he is one of the strongest personalities. If you hurt somebody they care about, watch out. You're going to get a beat down because they really will respond to that. The phlegmatics are very protective of the people they care about. They have deep feelings of care and concern. It's just a lot of times they don't respond or act on those feelings. Okay, they're just really laid back and leave me alone. I want to be by myself. Sometimes they just want to veg out on video games and television. It's just the way they are. It doesn't mean they're lazy. It just means they just like to be more relaxed and at peace. Okay, they're represented by the color green. It's like a peaceful color. These guys are strong. They're one of the strongest personalities, and they can endure a lot of frustration, irritation, and pain. Okay? They're represented by the angel. Raphael, the Lord. Yes.
The Lord is my healer.
The Lord is my healer. So, Raphael, he's maybe in the background, but man, he is an important part of this group of angels. The next angel we're going to talk about is the melancholic, which we're going to spend a lot of time on because the melancholic is represented by the angel
Gabriel.
Gabriel means the warrior of God. Melancholic angel that is very The melancholic angel that is very thoughtful, very deep, analyzes whatever he sees and hears. He's taking in more information than the other temperaments. He's calculating, he's analyzing, he's looking over and rechecking everything he believes and knows. And he's making sure he has accurate perspective on what he sees and what he hears, what he believes. This is the melancholic spirit. This is Ben and I. Very powerful melancholics. And details are very important to this person. Details are not as important to the sanguine Uriel. He's more concerned with having fun and making sure everybody feels good and that everybody is emotionally safe. Melancholic is more concerned about truth and about what's accurate and precise. That is represented by the animal.
An eagle.
An eagle. Tell me a little bit about the eagle.
Eagles are, they're very majestic, but yet they're very, very precise. They can catch fish out of the water, which now that I'm thinking about it, I've never thought about this before, but that's really precise, and they're just very like to separate themselves from everything else, and very precise.
They're calculated, and they detach. That's why they build their nests like way up high, away from everybody. They're monogamous. It means they mate with the same eagle year after year, which one person online I read that they were like, yeah, the other animals, they sleep around with all the other animals. Like, hold on a second. There's a whole list of animals that are monogamous, right? The swan, the penguin, the eagle,
Albatrosses.
the albatross. You name any others? Like, there's a whole list. Macaws, mate for life. So if people are using the excuse that animals are taking multiple partners so we can take multiple partners, look, there are certain animals that God created to just check us. We're one of those that it's healthiest for us to have one mate for life rather than like, hey, let's sleep around with 20 and see which one does us best and stick with that one. No, that's not the way it works. Anyway, melancholics are just very misunderstood a lot of times. They're very deep. They feel pain very deeply. They feel sorrow, and they want to empathize with other people. They want to do something to help people. And they're into the drama of the moment, where it's like, yes, we want to feel your pain and see you get through this hard time. And also, they're very much well studied. And they feel they're always right because they're well researched. But that can be a weakness. What are some of the weaknesses of a melancholic?
Enjoys being hurt, hard to please, spends too much time planning, dislikes those in opposition, skeptical, revengeful, judgmental, self-righteous, worried, pessimistic, depressed.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. Those are my weaknesses.
Me too. I can actually relate to that too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. And on the last animal, the lion, I brought in my little lion, Judah. Welcome to the show. He is a very hyperactive child, so he's going to share with us a little bit of what he knows about lions, because I call him my little lion. In fact, we put a patch on his gi, one of these. This is the lion I put on his jiu-jitsu gi. Judah, tell us a little bit about lions. What kind of creatures are they?
They are choleric, and they are very dominant. They will dominate another lion. They will dominate another lion to be the king of the pride or something.
Yeah, they're dominant. They're strong.
Strong, brave, bold.
Leaders.
Yeah, leaders.
Yeah, and that's Judah's personality. And by the way, having his brother having 50 pounds on him, and when we first started teaching him martial arts, he was dominating every fight, 50 pounds lighter. So if you haven't seen on Facebook, Judah fighting his brother, hey, what are you doing? If you haven't seen online, him fighting his brother. It's pretty amazing, being as small as he is, how dominant he is. So, like I said, he has a lot of energy. He's quite a personality, quite a mixture of a red and yellow here. But let's talk a little bit about the angel of the lion. Who is the angel that represents the lion of the
Michael.
four? Michael.
Michael.
What's your middle name?
Michael.
Michael. Yeah, he's the Lion of Judah, and his middle name's Michael. There's a reason I named him that. I kind of knew when he was born he was going to be a dominant child. So he is. And so what can you tell me about the strengths of the lion? Here, just list a few here in the book that we have.
They're a dynamic leader, delegates well, ability to correct wrongs, decisive, can control emotions in emergencies, independent and self-sufficient, energetic and adventurous, appears confident, energized by challenges, persuasive, and bold.
Yeah, so I mean that's a lion, and Michael, this personality of this archangel, he's the leader. He's the one that's on the right hand of Jesus to execute his commands and to bring justice on the earth. Like Michael is not, he's a force to be reckoned with, and I would not want to cross paths with a guy who is a dominant red choleric. These are just people who dominate communities, and they're leaders. They expect to be followed. And so what is the color that is associated with the choleric?
Red.
Red. So this book that we recommend everybody read is called I Said This, You Heard That. It's a really good personality book we went to in church one time. So choleric is just a really dominant personality. And Judah, like I said, he's got a ton of energy. And he's not agreeable. He does what he wants. He has an agenda. It has to be according to his agenda if he wants to go along with it. And so we try to work with him in that way. But he's going to be a dynamic leader. He's not going to be somebody who is easily dissuaded or follows along with the crowd. He goes to the beat of his own drum. So anyway, so what else can you tell me about the choleric personality or lions or any of these?
Well, they are. I can tell some weaknesses.
Yeah, let me hear some weaknesses of the choleric personality.
They're bossy, impatient, quick-tempered, can't relax, doesn't shy from controversy, enjoys arguments.
Start from can't relax.
Can't relax, doesn't shy from controversy, enjoys arguments, won't give up when losing, comes too strong, inflexible, is not complimentary, dislikes tears and emotions, is unsympathetic.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. Well, Judah, thank you for being on the podcast today. I really appreciate your input.
You're welcome for that.
Yeah, I hope you're on.
Welcome.
I hope you're on another one soon. Okay. All right. Love you, my little lion cub. Everybody has a human spirit with a combination of these four temperaments, and if you understand them well, then you're going to be able to relate better with people and work better with people, communicate better. So this is the value of this lesson here, this passage about these bizarre creatures, is that they're telling us something about God from which we are patterned as humans. We also have a spirit, and God's spirit can dwell in us to give us the strengths of these things we lack. There are dynamic people and there are static people. The dynamic people are the ones that adopt the strengths of their weak temperaments, like Moses. He was not a natural leader. He was scared to go to Egypt, but as he obeyed, he gained faith in God, and God gave him the strengths of his weak temperaments. Okay, so to wrap it up, that's the value of this lesson, guys. I hope you get it. I hope you understand people better. I hope you understand yourself better, because this is the reason God gave us this picture, so we could understand how he made us. God is not bound to human spirit, except through his Son, who became a man, that in him dwelt the fullness of God in the Spirit, that he was not bound to the weaknesses of the human spirit. So Jesus could actually, be perfect and make perfect decisions because God had made sure that he walked the path that he had planned for his son. So just to remind you, it doesn't mean you have to remain that way in your weaknesses. God gives us a decision to change and to adopt strengths from other temperaments. If you are weak in your choleric and you can't stand up for yourself and lead and take the initiative, then maybe God's calling you to learn more about that strength, that you're weak in that area. If you're too strong and people don't like you, then maybe you need to adopt more of the phlegmatic, sanguine side of relatability and personal touch and concern and listening more. Like the phlegmatic is so great. The ox just stands there, looks at you and listens to everything you say and processes it. They don't, talk too much. Phlegmatics are quiet and they're the best listeners. They also make some of the best first responders and medical people because they're so patient. And so that's the end of this session, this episode. Ben, you have anything to add to that?
No.
No?
Not this time.
We're good. Okay. Well, we're wrapping it up here, guys. Thank you for listening. Hope you liked this video. If you liked it, and subscribe, because there's going to be a lot more videos coming every week. Usually on Sunday or Monday, we'll post these. But if you have any comments, please leave comments down below. I will answer all your questions until I'm getting hundreds of thousands of views and hundreds of comments. Then probably I might lose some of you there. But I do answer questions. So thank you so much. God bless you. We'll see you on the next episode. Have a great week.